Hey guys, this is a video response to Ryan 1988's video on the top horror films of the last decade, or top horror film of the last decade, and this was a question I asked of him in a video he intended to make, one of those question and answer things, but it's made its way onto its own video and there's been a few responses now, so I'm making mine. And firstly, I'd just like to say thanks Ryan for the shout out, really appreciate it. If you haven't checked out this guy, take a look in the description box. I can never work out which way, but it's one of them ways. Yeah, he's a really cool guy, so subscribe him if you haven't already. I'll just state, firstly, again, I can't narrow it down to one movie. It's just too hard a task to bring it all down to one film, so I'm going to have to rattle off a few. Anyway, these are really good examples of horror films from the last decade in my opinion. And first up we've got 28 Days Later by Danny Boyle. I've already reviewed this one, but I think this movie is exceptional. The atmosphere is really claustrophobic and foreboding and really dense, and it's just unrelenting. The enemies also very unrelenting. They're kind of these zombie hybrids. They're actually not zombies, they're people infected with a virus, which makes them incredibly violent, but yeah, it's kind of kicked off that whole running zombie phase, which seems to be a staple of horror movies nowadays. I know Umberto Lenzi done it back in the 80s with Nightmare City, but I think this one takes it to the next level. They seem more dangerous and vicious, more of a threat in this movie. So for that and a lot of other reasons, I think this is one of the best films of the last 10 years, horror films of the last 10 years. So 28 Days Later, and there's also the sequel out there, 28 Weeks Later, but I only chose to put this one in because this is the original and the sequel builds upon what this one's already created. So yeah, 28 Days Later. Next up is one that gets a lot of shit. People either seem to love or hate it, and I think it's all down to one plot development which happens right at the end, and it's High Tension by Alexander Aja. Now I saw this movie when it was first released, and I was pretty much blown away. I really like this movie. Very stylish. It's a slasher movie if you don't know. It's French, or I think they also speak Belgian in it, but yeah, it's a French slasher movie, and I just think it's incredibly stylish. Just visually it looks beautiful. I think the atmosphere again is really great in it. The editing and how it's all put together makes it really tense, and I just think it's a really great example of what a modern day slasher movie can aspire to, because yeah, the barrel isn't totally scraped clean. There are things slasher movies can do nowadays to be original, so I think this is a great example of that. So High Tension, and just for the record, I liked the plot development at the end. It did take me by surprise. I know people kind of get ripped off by it, or feel ripped off by it, but I liked it, and watching it again with that in mind, I thought it was a brilliant film. So yeah, High Tension. The next one I don't actually own. I'll decide to do it now. I need to buy it. It's called it's fairly unknown, I guess. It's called Calvaire, or The Ordeal, and I think it's Belgian. It's from 2004, I think, and I'll put a little thing up on the screen. It's kind of a hybrid Deliverance, Hills Have Eyes, townspeople kind of attack thing, and I think it's really inventive, very creative. Again, the atmosphere is one of the really strong points of this movie. If you haven't checked it out, I'd urge everyone to check it out. It's a great film. The acting in it is just really unnerving, really effective, I'd say. And it's just a really great movie. Again, it's in my list, so I think it's one of the best of the last 10 years. So if you haven't checked it out, check it out, because it's a great movie. Next up, I've got Session 9, and a lot of people probably wouldn't consider this a horror movie, but I think it's, yeah, definitely a horror movie. Again, it's kind of more forgotten nowadays. I never think it got its due, because I think this is an exceptional movie. It's more psychological, it's more on that side of horror, but it's just a great movie. the cast, I mean, I don't really like David Caruso, but I have to say he's done a great job in this movie. That's one of the strong points of the film, is the acting. It's totally, especially the main guy whose name escapes me at the moment, but his acting is superb in this. You just go on this journey with him through kind of just deepening madness kind of thing, and I just think it's a really great film. So yeah, don't be put off by this film. It doesn't really have the best reputation, although I think it's getting a little more respect nowadays. So yeah, Session 9, I think it's a great example of psychological horror. The setting and everything, it's set in an asylum, it's just really good, so yeah, check it out. Next one, again, I'll do it now, is another one I don't own, but I intend to buy it. It's Takashi Miike's Audition. It's just a really great film. I know I'm saying really great a lot, but all these movies are. Again, if you know Takashi Miike's work, it's very strange and warped, but it has a constant horror theme throughout it, and this one's no exception. It's just totally off the walls, perversity and disturbing images, really unnerving, and yeah, it's just a great movie. So again, if you haven't seen that one, check it out. Out of all his movies that I've seen about, I'd say about 7 or 8. I think Audition's my favourite movie out of his, so yeah, great movie. Japanese too, it's Asian, so keep that in mind if you haven't seen it already. Next one up is Shaun of the Dead. Again, this is not really considered a horror movie, I guess, but to me it's a horror comedy. It's one of those hybrids like American Werewolf in London or Evil Dead 2, so it's in there. Now, it's British, stars Simon Pegg, a lot of famous English comedians, and the humour in this is very British, but I think everyone could appreciate it. These guys are really big fans of Romero and the horror genre, and it really shines through. You can see that in the film. There's a lot of homages and yeah, a lot of references to other movies, and yeah, as I said, the humour in this is really good. Lots of great jokes and sequences in there. Really funny film, and yeah, great acting again. The zombies are pretty cool too, but yeah, it finds a nice balance between horror and humour. So yeah, really good film. I don't think there'd be a lot of people out there who haven't seen this one. So Shaun of the Dead, great movie. Another one that kind of gets shit on a bit, but I really like it personally. Cloverfield, J.J. Abrams produced effort, I think it is, sorry. And I just think this is a really good movie. I love the whole grand scale of it. It does feel epic when you watch it. The monster in this is really cool. That's one of the things I really liked about the movie, is the monster. It's not your typical Godzilla kind of thing. But yeah, if you don't know the story, it's this big beast that comes out of the water and kind of lays waste to a city. I know people, probably the reason they don't like it is the actors in it. They're kind of preppy, annoying people, but I can forgive that. It didn't really bother me to that degree to not like the movie. So I think it's a really effective movie. The action sequences are really well put together and thought out. The atmosphere is really good, especially in the tunnels when they're going through and all the lights are off. So yeah, I think it's a really good example of a monster movie, a modern day monster movie. So yeah, great film in my opinion. I know a lot of people out there don't like it, but I like it, so it's in there. This one again, I guess you could accuse me of it not being a horror film, but I'm going to put it in there because I think the horror elements are strong enough in it for it to be considered a horror film. And it's Zodiac, the David Fincher serial killer movie based on the Zodiac killer. This is a special edition, so it's director's cut. It's a bit longer, and I just think this movie is. When I first saw it, I was just like blown away by it. You kind of get infected with this urge to go on the internet and research the Zodiac killer because it's so mysterious, and that is used to a great degree in the movie. It's kind of infused with this mystery and kind of otherworldliness. The killer in this is, it's nothing direct that they do, but he kind of seems like this force that nobody can apprehend, and I just think it's a perfect movie. I love the acting in it. I mean, it's a 2.5 hour movie, but it just flies by. Just the talent behind the camera is exceptional. The script is really good, and it just bubbles along and increasingly gets more interesting, and you get more enthralled by it and involved. So it's really effective. It's just a great movie. So Zodiac, I'm gonna have to cut now.